Good evening, councillors, and welcome to those in the gallery tonight and those that are at home watching online. Welcome to the special meeting of council, 29th of October 2025. I wish to declare the meeting open now at 6:01, and the City of Swan acknowledges the traditional custodians of this region, the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation, and their continuing connection to the land, waters and community, and we pay our respects to elders past, present and their descendants. The terms and conditions of entry into this meeting are posted at the entry of the public gallery, and members of the public are advised to read them prior to attending this meeting and abide by them. Attendance and apologies. All council members are in attendance apart from Councillor Catalano, and I haven't had any apologies this evening. Part 4, disclosure of interest. Are there any declarations of interest that councillors need to hand up? For new councillors, there is a sheet underneath your desk in the drawer. Or if you don't have one, please let me know, and you can pass that up during the meeting to the CEO. Part 5 is public question time. So 5.3, questions relating to reports contained in the agenda. No written questions were received. Is there any member of the public wishing to ask a question on an item on the agenda? No. Part 6 is deputations, and no deputations were received. Part 7 is a leave of absence. We have Councillor Bowman from the 2nd of November 2025 to the 5th of November 2025 inclusive, and I also have a request for leave of absence from Councillor Congerton, requesting leave of absence from the 21st of November 2025 to the 30th of the 11th 25. Thank you. Oh, my apologies. Yes, and the 5th of December 2025 to the 9th of December 25. Thank you. So I'm a mover, thank you, Councillor Miles, and a seconder. Thank you, Councillor Henderson. Is anyone against? That's carried. So we move to part 8. So tonight on the agenda we have a report seeking the appointment of council representatives to various council-created and external committees and boards in accordance with section 5.11 of the Local Government Act 1995. The Act, all positions on council committees became vacant following the local government election on the 18th of October 2025. And membership of committees required under other legislation, committees required under legal agreements and other committees are also to be reappointed. Council members have been afforded the opportunity to nominate to these committees, advisory groups and panels, and these are set out in the table below. So we all have a copy of that.
Question. Will you take late nominations?
Mr CEO.
Thank you. At this stage, Madam Mayor, we have an alternate motion which will have to be considered first. As part of that, people can seek to move amendments.
Thank you. Further question. The alternate motion, is it an alternate or is it a notice of motion?
It's an alternate motion.
Thank you. It's an alternate motion.
Question. What's it alternate to?
Thank you. In accordance with meeting procedures, an alternate to the officer's recommendation.
Well, there's no officer's recommendation.
That was my next question. I don't see an officer's recommendation. Can you help me with that one, please?
Thank you. So if you go to the report as a whole, which includes a template which is seeking for council to complete the nominations, that becomes the officer's recommendation, leaving it blank for council to make the notice. So where you have the nominations that have been called for, this is an alternate because the officer's is currently blank. You're not going to leave it blank.
But isn't the process to call for nominations? And then we move to Councillor Bowman's alternate motion, if that's what he wants to do.
Mr CEO.
That comes first.
Thank you. No, the process is that prior to the consideration of the item, if anybody raises an alternate motion, that is considered. If during the course of the debate amendments are raised to that alternate, they can be debated individually. But no, you call for, if an alternate motion is received, which it has been, that is what is debated, subject to being moved and seconded.
So when was this submitted?
Thank you. Through the chair, as all questions need to go through the chair. It was submitted after before the close of the period, which is I think it's 5 or 6 o'clock on a Tuesday, and after the issue of the agenda.
Further question?
I thought it was 2 days. Can we refer to the meeting procedures, local law?
I'm not going to answer anything unless it goes to the chair.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. CEO, through you, Madam Mayor, can we have some information about when is the latest time a alternate motion can be submitted with reference to the meeting procedures?
Thank you, Mr. CEO.
Thank you. You'd be aware in accordance with meeting procedures 8.1a, admission, that the standard time is 2 days before the meeting, with the words where possible, as the staff had asked for all councillors to make their nominations by Tuesday, and then the alternate motion was received on the Tuesday, allowing people to have made their nominations prior to that.
Okay.
Question
Question?
through you, Madam Mayor. It's at 8.1 B. We're meant to provide a reason. I don't see a reason listed with that alternate motion.
Thank you, Mr. CEO.
Through the chair, until the alternate motion is actually moved, it's open then to the mover, if it's got a seconder, to provide their reason for decision. But as you are quite correct, you would need a reason for decision at that point in time.
Sorry, Madam Mayor, through you. It does state an alternate motion is to include the reasons for changing the officer's recommendations. And I'm just wondering why that wasn't provided in the written copy by Councillor Bowman.
Question to Councillor Bowman.
Councillor Bowman, did you have a reason attached to that?
Madam Mayor, the legislation says that if I go against the officer's recommendation, the officer left blanks. I haven't gone against the officer's recommendation, I've just filled in the blanks.
So a question, Madam Mayor, through you to the CEO. Therefore, it's not an alternate recommendation because there's no recommendation. So it's not valid. We should proceed with the proper process of seeking nominations.
Through you, Mr. CEO.
Through the chair, the process has been followed where we have asked for nominations. Those nominations are contained in the business papers, which will be circulated in the running sheet to all council members.
So it's correct then that the alternate motion is not valid because it's not opposing anything. So we just need to move on with calling nominations, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. I'll ask for advice, Mr. CEO.
Thank you. And the process of submitting an alternate motion has been followed until it's actually moved at the time. It doesn't become the alternate motion. So that is a process that has to happen. Councillor Johnson.
Question through you, Madam Mayor, to the CEO or who can answer this one. From what I can see, Councillor Howlett's not on the list. However, she does want to go on one committee, and from what I understand, every councillor is allowed to go on one committee. So how would we manage that to ensure that she gets on there?
Thank you, Mr. CEO.
Thank you. And it's a good point to bring up in the legislation, because under the legislation at section 510(2) of the Local Government Act, there is an entitlement to go on a committee that's referred to in section 5.92A. Of the types of committees the city has, there is only one committee this applies to, and that is audit and risk. So if a council member seeks to go on the audit risk tonight and the moves are them for the names to be included, they are entitled to go on that. None of the other advisory committees or a panel are defined as committees in accordance with the Act. So if Councillor Howlett tonight, if the alternate motion is moved, seeks to do an amendment proposing that her name is added to that, that amendment then would be debated, but she has an entitlement to go on it as any other council does.
Sorry, follow-on question. So what about the Reconciliation Action Committee, that one, the RAP?
So no, it doesn't apply. So the only entitlement sits to the Audit and Risk Committee because it's the only formal committee of council. All the others are advisory committees, which aren't committees of council. And I said the SEO review panel is not a committee, it is a review panel.
So, Mr. CEO, through you, Madam Mayor, I'm sure it says in the Act that a committee is defined as a committee that's got 3 or more members in it. It doesn't have to have delegated legislation or to be statutory. It's simply not correct to suggest we've only got one committee. Otherwise, we wouldn't be sitting here nominating for, how many are there? 15. Do you understand?
Mr. CEO.
Thank you, and I understand what the legislation says. You've only got one formal committee of council, which is the Audit and Risk Committee. The others are advisory committees. They aren't committees of council. So whilst council still nominates, including to positions such as the zone, the JDAP, which is the Joint Development Assessment Committee or panel, none of those are defined as committees in accordance with section 510(2) and 592A.
But through you, Madam Mayor, to the CEO, the legislation defines what a committee is. It is a committee of 3 or more councillors. Just because something's called a panel or an advisory group doesn't mean it's not a committee. That's the advice I've been given, and that's what the department says,
If I
and
may-
that's what LGMA says.
If I may, Mayor and CEO, Councillor Johnson, I refer you to section 5.1, where it defines the term committee. Committee means a committee of a council.
Correct. That's what I'm referring to.
No, the legislation clearly defines committees, and the only committee that the City of Swan has of council is the ARIC.
And if I could add, you've previously received extensive legal advice from Mr Dennis McLeod, which dealt with the fact that the CEO Performance Review panel is a panel, not a committee. So I reiterate, if Councillor Howlett tonight seeks to nominate and wishes to go on the audit and risk, she has to be agreed to, or any other council wishes to go on the audit and risk, they have to. We've set a number of persons or a required position to fill the statutory obligation of running that. But if anybody feels really passionate about being a committee, then nominate yourself in the audit risk tonight.
So, question through you, Madam Mayor, to the CEO. It says here in section 5.8, establishment of committees. A local government may establish committees of 3 or more persons to assist the council and to exercise the powers and discharge the duties of local government that can be delegated to committees. So, for instance, the Bushfire Advisory Committee has statutory duties. The CEO Performance Review Panel has statutory duties. Just because it's called a panel doesn't mean it's not a committee. Again, that's the advice from the department. It's also the advice from LGMA. I suggest if you asked Mr. McLeod, he'd give you the same advice. It's clear English. It doesn't require a lot of legal advice.
Thank you.
So I think we've got a situation where everything that is before us is a committee because that's as defined by law. And a councillor is entitled to be on one committee. So they can nominate for one, that's the one they're on.
Mr CEO.
Through the chair, unfortunately, Councillor Johnson, you are incorrect. And I don't think you've ever received that advice from the department. If you have, it would be incorrect advice because council has, as for section 5.1, a committee of council, and there is only one formal adopted committee of council, which is the Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee. All the rest are not committees of council. The Bushfire Advisory Committee includes members of the public. It includes specialists outside of the city. So none of those other bodies, WALGA, is not a committee of council. You are electing zone representatives to represent you. So unfortunately, for those who have a different view, take that as guidance. There's only one committee that you can seek to move to go on tonight if you do not have your name listed for another body.
Thank you, councillors.
Just through you, Madam Mayor, so let's just get into a bit more detail here, as the CEO believes that BFAC is not a committee of council. It meets in this chamber, by the way. It says here, 5.9, committees, types of. A committee is to comprise council members only, or council members and employees, or council members, employees and other persons, or council members and other persons, and so on and so forth. So someone who is an officer in a fire brigade is another person. It's a committee of council. So it's fairly simple. Likewise, the panel has delegated authority and is a committee. It is, if a councillor nominates for either of these, and they are nominated for one, they're entitled to be on it. That's the advice the department has given. That is the advice LGMA has given. That, I believe, is correct if you read this. So if we were to pass any motion that prevents the council from being on the committee, panel, or any advisory group that they've nominated for, then it would be in breach of written law.
Thank you, Mr CEO.
Unfortunately, you're incorrect, Councillor Johnson, for the reasons I've already outlined. That is incorrect. You've received extensive legal advice from Mr McLeod, and I don't need to repeat it, that confirms to you that the body you referred to as a panel is not a committee.
So
We have only adopted in our structure one formal committee of council. That is the Audit, Risk and Improvement. And I don't mean for the benefit of the new council to continue to reiterate this, but if you wanted to be on that and your name wasn't on it, you could go on it. The others are not committees of council. They are external bodies which we are asked to provide representatives to, but they are not committees of a council. A committee of a council is a body which the council itself solely controls as a committee. None of those others are bodies the city solely controls.
Thank you, Mr CEO. We're going to now move on. We've received the following alternate motion from Councillor Bowman. Councillor Bowman, can you please read out your alternate motion?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Madam Mayor, I move that Council resolves to appoint members, representatives and nominees as follows. Audit Risk and Improvement Committee, ARIC. Members, Councillor Henderson, Councillor Miles, Mayor Richardson, Councillor Dean, with a deputy member being Councillor Core. CEO Performance Review Panel, Mayor Richardson as the ex officio. Members, Deputy Mayor Zanino, Councillor Miles, Councillor Henderson and Councillor McCulloch. The Reconciliation Action Plan Advisory Group, Mayor Richardson as the ex officio. Members, Councillor McCulloch and Councillor Core. Bushfire Advisory Committee, members, Councillor Henderson, Councillor Prodovnik, Deputy Member, Deputy Mayor Zanino. Local Emergency Management Committee, member, Councillor Prodovnik. Midland Land Redevelopment Committee, Councillor Bowman. Development Assessment Panels, DAPS, members, Councillor Congleton, Councillor Henderson. Deputy members, Deputy Mayor Zanino and Councillor Dean. North Swan Land Conservation District Committee, Councillor Ringo. Allenbrook Community Advisory Group, ECAP, Councillor McCulloch. Deputy Mayor, Councillor Tukiro? Sorry, Maria. East Metro Walga Zone, Councillor McCulloch and Councillor Henderson, with deputy members being Mayor Richardson and Councillor Miles and the CEO. The Metropolitan Regional Road Group, Councillor Bowman, and the Swan Community Advisory Committee, Councillor Dean.
Question.
Question?
Through you, Madam Mayor. I thought we weren't.
Oh, just one moment. Well,
Question and also an amendment.
First, before we get into it, haven't had a second, haven't had a reason for the decision.
Second.
so I'll ask, have a seconder. Thank you, Councillor Henderson.
And Madam Mayor, I'm just simply filling in the gaps.
Just one moment. Now, can we ask a question in between?
Just double checking. I thought we weren't making a decision on the Midland Land Redevelopment Committee until next year. Is that correct?
CEO?
Thank you. It has an existing membership that runs through that, but we will still need to have that replaced. So I believe that's the reason for it being on the agenda tonight.
Are we able to defer that one? Because that was one that I was looking at, but I didn't think we had to make a decision on it tonight. Being a Midland Ward councillor.
Valerie, are you aware of this?
Could be different, but it's not preferable because we have to get paperwork through to the minister, etc.
Just through the chair, if I may. Statutory, the Swan Valley Planning Committee is the only one we didn't formally need to. With each of these nominations, we still need to be able to pass them through the minister's office and have the minister consent to parties be on it. That applies to, for instance, the JDAP. So that's for the reason it's in there tonight, to allow sufficient administrative time for that to proceed. Now, it doesn't mean if you are seeking, when we come to that, to move an amendment, you could move an amendment. Substituting and replacing, that amendment would have to be debated, but it's here tonight and we've got an alternate motion.
Sorry, I was just having a chat to Councillor Howlett. Are you saying that when do we do the amendments? Is that now?
So through the chair, now that there is a mover and a seconder for it, it would normally move to debate. So if you are seeking to move an amendment, you could propose an amendment at this point in time. Then the amendment would be, if it's not consented to, because I'm presuming it's replacing someone, noting under the section 8.3 3 of the meeting procedures, amendment is to take the motion in one of the following forms, that certain words be omitted, substituted or added. You would seek to omit a word or substitute a word. This is a name, Smith for Jones. Not that we have a Councillor Jones anymore, but that's how you do an amendment. That amendment would have to be debated, and then if the amendment is lost, that's the end of it. If the amendment is consented to, it becomes part of the substantive motion.
Okay,
So-
councillors, I had Councillor Henderson. Just one moment.
Are we doing the amendment? Now
If
that we're
you
doing the
wanted
amendment?
to part-
Yes.
Okay,
That's what
so I
I'm
have councillor
calling for.
Henderson as the seconder, and you can move an amendment now.
I have a question, please.
Well, I had an amendment first, so move,
I'm presuming there's someone that's against.
I haven't asked yet because the amendments jumped in first, so.
Can I just
Do you have an
answer?
amendment?
Is Councillor Howlett's question relating to the amendment because you're on the committee?
It's relating to the substantive, or to the Councillor Bowman's alternate motion.
Councillors, you need to work out whether you're going to move the amendment.
I am, but it would be helpful, I think, to hear Councillor Howlett's
Councillor
question.
Howlett, do you have a question?
I do. My question is, I didn't understand Councillor Bowman's reason. I think he said he was simply filling in the blanks, but I don't know what that relates to because I thought all but one advisory group had nominations in it. So could I ask him to please elaborate through you, Madam Mayor, on what that reason for simply filling in the blanks actually means?
Thank you, Mr CEO.
Thank you. And what councillor, as I understood councillor referring to councillor Howlett, is the officer's recommendation had no names against it. So everything was blank. So whilst you've got a series of nominations there, he is proposing to place the officer's recommendation through to blank with names. You might wish to put that to councillor Bowman.
Councillor Bowman, would you like to comment on that?
Exactly what I said before.
Thank you. Okay, councillor Prodovnik, do you have an amendment?
Yes, there's a vacancy for the Swan Community Care Advisory Committee for a deputy member, and I'd like to be added to that as a deputy.
Happy as the mover to accept that amendment.
Seconder? Happy with that? Thank you.
Also, I was going to ask again, did I get this wrong about the Midland Land Redevelopment Committee? I really did think that we weren't.
The which one, sorry?
The Midland Land Redevelopment Committee, I didn't think that was going to be included tonight, so it's very clumsy to ask for this now. I'm sorry.
So
I wanted to
just one moment.
nominate for it.
The CEO has explained that, and my understanding through you, Ms Hodges, is that we do need to move this through tonight, but if you'd like to add to that again.
Yes, that is correct.
Happy to accept that amendment. Councillor Prodovnik instead of Councillor Bowman on Midland Land Redevelopment Committee.
Okay, and seconder? Thank you. Okay. Councillor McCulloch.
Amendment, thank you, Mayor.
Amendment.
In regards to the Reconciliation Action Plan Committee, to remove Councillor McCulloch and replace her with Councillor Howlett.
Councillor Howlett, is that what you have organised?
I haven't organised anything, but I'm happy to accept that as a nomination, and if that
And through
if so be
the
yes.
Happy to accept
Councillor
the
Bowman?
amendment.
Councillor Henderson, thank you. We'll just see if that's going up on the board. Sorry? So for the Reconciliation Action Plan Advisory Group, Councillor McCulloch has moved an amendment requesting that her name be removed and that Councillor Howlett be added. Thank you. And that was okayed by the mover and the seconder.
Yep.
I also have an amendment when you're ready.
Sure. Councillor Miles.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to amend East Metro Walga Zone to substitute Councillor Henderson with Councillor Miles, or swap that Councillor Henderson is the deputy and I'm one of the members.
Okay, I'll ask the mover.
I expect Councillor Henderson's not happy with that one, so it's not a moot point.
Okay.
Need to debate that now.
So that was to, for the East Metro Walga Zone, to remove Councillor Henderson and replace Councillor Miles, but it was not accepted by the mover or the seconder.
So as an amendment,
Yep.
that's what's got to be debated. Councillor Miles needs a seconder for that, and then you
Okay.
debate.
Do I have a seconder for Councillor Miles? Councillor Johnson? Is there anyone against? Do you wish to debate it? No?
So just go straight for a vote now.
Okay, those in favour?
Yep.
Yep. So we had Those in favour? Sorry, those against? Who are we going to go for? Yep, those in favour were Councillor Miles and Councillor Johnson, thank you. And those against? We had Councillor Dean, Councillor Carr. Do you call them out? Yep. Councillor Oringo, have you voted for or against? That was for Councillor Miles's amendment to change Councillor Henderson's name out for his own. Okay, so Councillor Ringo, Councillor Bowman, Councillor McCulloch, and Councillor DeCiro, Councillor Congerton, Deputy Mayor Zanino, Councillor Henderson. Oh, I must have missed a name on here. I'm going down my list at a rate. Councillor Brodovnik and Councillor Howlett. And myself. Thank you. So that was lost. 2 to 12. Or 2-13, thank you.
2-12. We've got
We've got one less.
Oh, sorry.
2-12. Thank you. Okay, so
Amendment.
then Councillor Johnson.
Yeah, so I've got an amendment. So my amendment is to the CEO Performance Review Panel and to add myself, Councillor Johnson, to the list after Councillor McCulloch.
So what, sorry, can you say that again?
My amendment is to CEO Performance Review Panel and to add myself, Councillor Johnson, to the list after Councillor McCulloch. So, Councillor Johnson is how it would read.
I'll ask the mover. Seconder? No. So the amendment was for Councillor Johnson to add him, insert himself to the CEO Performance Review Panel. And it wasn't accepted by the mover or the seconder.
And then it was seconded by Councillor Howlett. So now we move to debate.
Yep, that's fine. Deputy, sorry,
Does anyone want to debate it? Yes.
just one moment, please. Okay. Is there anyone against? Thank you, Councillor Bowman. You wish to debate it?
I've already said
Yes,
so.
thank you. Councillor Johnson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Councillors, particularly for new councillors, you must be a bit surprised by the way this meeting is going, because typically the process is for councillors to put their hands up and to nominate, and then we have a vote. Previously, we've done it by secret ballot. The way it works is that if a councillor is
Just
not...
one moment, Councillor Johnson. If you could just give me a moment, please. Councillor Bowman, if you could quote, please, the section that you'd like to bring your point of order for.
7.21F, presentation of false or misleading information. We didn't do secret ballots, actually against the Act. If we look at 2 years ago, as the CEO said, this was the same process as we did. So the point that Councillor Johnson said about secret ballot is factually incorrect.
Thank you, Councillor Bowman. I'll uphold that point of order. If you'd like to continue.
Yeah, just prior to 2 years ago, we did do it by secret ballot. So, councillors, a councillor is entitled to be on one committee. And that's what it says at section 5.10 of the Local Government Act. It says, at any given time, each council member is entitled to be a member of at least one committee referred to in section 5.9. And if the council member nominates himself or herself to be a member of such a committee or committees, the local government is to include that council member in the persons appointed. It's that simple. I'm entitled to be on one committee. The next question is the panel a committee? The simple fact is, yes, it is a committee of this council because it has powers given to it under, I believe it is a section of the Local Government Act, I think 5.38, annual review of employees' performance. We are voting on it now. And I have nominated, so I filled in the nomination form correctly. And if we look at what is a committee, so establishment of committees, 5.8 of the Local Government Act, a local government may establish committees of 3 or more persons to assist the council and to exercise the powers and discharge the duties of the local government that can be delegated to committees. So, councillors, it does not matter that it's called a panel or an advisory group, so long as it is a committee of this council, that it's got councillors on it, and it is established by this this council. So it performs acts under the section 5.38 of the Local Government Act. A councillor is entitled to be on one committee. That is the one I have nominated for. We have this unusual motion here, so I'm moving an amendment. So if Councillor Bowman's motion proceeds without this amendment being passed, the entire motion will be in breach of written law. And that's something the local government, the department, will be very interested in, particularly given the circumstances. So, councillors, I urge you to support this. I've got a right and an entitlement to be on one committee. The panel is a committee. It is a committee of this council, and I ask you to disregard what the CEO said, because I've read out what the Act says, and I've sought advice both from the department. They're clear that a panel is a committee, particularly the CEO Performance Review Panel. I've also sought advice from LGMA, that's the Local Government Elected Members Association. They also say that the panel is a committee, and a councillor is entitled to be on one. I've nominated for one. This is the one I want to be on, so therefore the motion should put me on it.
Point of order, Madam Mayor.
Point of order, just one moment. What was your point of order, Councillor Ringo?
7.2 D, Speaker's remarks being repetitive.
Thank you very much. I'll uphold that point of order. Councillor Johnson, have you finished? Thank you very much. I'll ask anyone like to speak for the motion. Amendment. Anyone against? Sorry. Councillor Bowman.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And Madam Mayor, for the new councillors, a person by the name of Dennis McLeod, probably one of the leading lawyers in Western Australia, 50 years, provided this council advice on the CEO Performance Panel. And in that advice, he said it's not a committee. I'm not a qualified lawyer. I will go with his advice any day. But I do know my legislation, probably because of my 27 years in local government. So when Councillor Johnson talks about committees, these are committees formed under the Local Government Act. Councillor Johnson previously mentioned the Bushfire Advisory Committee. Well, that's formed under the 1954 bushfire legislation. The Local Emergency Committee is not formed a committee under the Local Government Act. Councillors, what someone tells you and what's right are two totally different things at times. I tell myself I'm a good-looking bloke, but it's far from the truth. We have our chief advisor here who has told us time and time again tonight, but some in this chamber refuse to listen. Some in this chamber believe they have a better understanding than what is the leading lawyer in local government. Councillor Johnson said the CEO Performance Panel, call it what you want, has delegation. I'm sorry, councillors, it doesn't have delegation because it makes a recommendation to the full council and the full council decides. A delegation, councillors, is when this council tells a committee that you can do something on behalf of us and make that decision. And as far as I know, even the ARIC committee, no, I do know, the ARIC committee has no delegation because all the items in there which require a decision come to this council meeting. So, councillors, the only thing Councillor Johnson was right about is you're entitled to be on one local government committee. The CEO has told us we only have one committee. It is the ARIC committee. And so as such, to repeat what our CEO has said on numerous occasions tonight, Councillor Johnson, you are incorrect.
Thank you, Councillor Bowman. I'll ask anyone like to speak for the motion.
Yes.
Thank you, Councillor Podolny.
Look, just very quickly, obviously, if you're listening tonight, there's a bit of a dispute in interpretations, and I don't want to go near that. But what I do want to ask this council to consider is the fact that Councillor Johnson is actually not on this list at all. He's making himself available to be on a committee, and I just think it's not unreasonable for us to consider putting a councillor who's willing to do the work on a committee, and I would ask council to consider that. I mean, I'm on a few committees and I'm happy to roll over and give you one if you want one. But yeah, please just support this. It's not a massive ask. It's one position, and he's not on the list. I think that's a shame.
Thank you very much. I'll ask, is anyone like to speak against the amendment? Question.
Madam Mayor, my question, however, refers to previous legal advice. So I take your advice on how we deal with that question.
Mr CEO?
Thank you. If you wish to deal with matters of legal advice, you need to go behind closed doors and go offline. If that's what you need a motion for first, Madam Mayor.
Thank you.
I move to go behind closed doors so I can ask questions about previous legal advice that was given to this council.
I had a seconder, Councillor Miles. Is anyone against? No, that's carried. For those watching at home, we're going to go behind closed doors. And for those watching online, we've just returned from behind closed doors where we had some confidential legal advice, and we are back to the debate, and I'll ask, is anyone against the amendment? Anyone like to speak? Thank you, Councillor Henderson.
Thank you, Mayor. I think whilst there might be a lot of passion about what panels or committees that members go on, could I suggest that there may be other options to councillors to consider, and the council may or may not agree with those. So that's how it goes in terms of a councillor's right to be on a committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Henderson. I'll ask anyone like to speak for the amendment. Anyone like to speak against the amendment? Not your right of reply.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Look, councillors, I was immensely disappointed that was raised again. Really immensely disappointed. I've got legal advice that says that what you're saying is simply not true, Madam Government Officer, and you haven't got your own legal advice. Councillors, Section 5.8 of the Local Government Act establishes committees. Committees don't have to be called committees, they can be called panels. Section 5.10 of the Local Government Act says in summary that a councillor can be on one committee. If they nominate to be on that committee, they have an entitlement to be on it. I've nominated for it, and I've moved, when I didn't appear on Councillor Bowman's motion, I've therefore moved an amendment, and then the various things that occurred behind closed doors, which were very disappointing, happened, and I hope that's been recorded. Councillors, I'm entitled to be on one committee. I've nominated for the one committee. That's the law. So that's the law of the land. Now, if we don't move my motion and you pass Councillor Bowman's motion, basically the motion is in breach of written law.
Point of order 7.2.
Just one moment, Councillor Bowman, if you could resume your seat, please, Councillor Johnson. And Councillor Bowman, if you could just slowly go through your point of order, please.
7.2(1)(f), the presentation of false or misleading information. My motion is not a breach of law based on legal advice we received 2 years ago. I can't say it any more different ways because I don't know any other languages besides English.
Thank you, Councillor Bowman. I'll hold that point of order. Councillor Johnson, if you could continue, and you have 1 minute and 24 seconds.
I must admit, I actually didn't follow the point of order at all. I don't think it's relevant. The Local Government Act is pretty clear at Section 5.10. So basically, councillors, if you were to vote for Councillor Bowman's motion, you'd be in breach of written law. You'd be in breach of
Point of
Section
order, Madam Mayor.
5.10.
Just 1 moment, Councillor Johnson. Councillor Bowman, what's your point of order?
7.2(1)(f), the presentation of false or misleading information. You will not be in breach of written local law or the Local Government Act if passing my motion, as Councillor Johnson is trying to tell people, based on the advice that the CEO has previously given, and also Dennis McLeod, who was one of the leading lawyers in Western Australia.
Thank you, Councillor Bowman. I'll uphold that point of order. Councillor Johnson, you have 1 minute and 4 seconds.
I cannot understand, Madam Mayor, why Councillor Bowman keeps repeating this. I suggest, Councillor, you take a look at Section 5.10 too.
Point of order, Madam Mayor.
Just 1 moment, Councillor Johnson. Councillor Bowman.
7.21(e), a speaker's use of offensive, indecent or assaulting expressions. I take that as what Councillor Johnson just said, that he's implying that I don't know what I'm talking about. As a veteran of local government for 27 years and an experienced governance manager, I do know what I'm talking about.
Thank you, Councillor Bowman. I'll uphold that. Councillor Johnson, you have 54 seconds. If you'd like to complete, please, your right of reply.
And all I did, councillors, was to quote the Local Government Act. I just quoted Section 5.8 and Section 5.10(2). And how could that possibly be offensive to anybody? It's just a matter of reading it. So I think those newer councillors can see we've got a problem. A councillor is entitled to be on one committee. I've got legal advice that says I'm entitled to be on the committee, and I've got legal advice that doesn't agree with what the Governor's Officer has said.
Point of order. Sorry, Councillor Henderson, I couldn't quite hear you. What was your point of order? Is your microphone working? Just
Have you finished, Councillor Johnson, or is there more? He's finished. That's fine.
Thank you very much. Thank you, councillors.
Question?
Question?
As
Point of order, Madam Mayor. Debate has now finished.
Thank you very much. You're correct, Councillor Bowman. I was just
As a
about to
seconder,
call
I
that.
wasn't given an opportunity to speak.
Just 1 moment, Mr. CEO. Just 1 moment, councillors.
Thank you. Once, Madam Mayor, you've called for to the Speaker to sum up. There is no opportunity for further speaking. But you did ask anyone to speak for or against. There was no one who did at that point in time. So you've had the summation. You now need to move to the vote.
Thank you. I'll now put that to the vote. Those in favour? So I have Councillor Miles, Councillor Johnson and Councillor Howlett, and those against? So I have Councillor Dean. It's okay. Just please don't coach from the gallery, please. That's my job. Thank you. Councillor Dean, Councillor Carr, is that correct? You had your hand up. You were. Yes. So,
Madam
Councillor
Mayor,
Ringo,
it
just
is.
one moment. Councillor Ringo. Councillor Bowman.
Madam Mayor, can I ask that
Okay.
perhaps we could just call that one
I'll
again
do it
for the new
again so that
councillors?
councillors, you need to follow along if you can, please. Those against the amendment that councillor, so those for the amendment that councillor Johnson. So we had councillor Carr, councillor Miles, councillor Johnson, and councillor Howlett. Those against. So councillor Dean, councillor Ringo, councillor Bowman, councillor McCulloch, councillor Takiro, councillor Congerton, Deputy Mayor, councillor Henderson, councillor Prodovnik, and myself. It's lost 4-10. Thank you very much. Councillors.
Madam Mayor,
Question?
I'd like to move a procedural motion 9.1A that the motion now be put.
Thank you. So for
Point of order.
just one moment, Councillor Johnson. We have a procedural motion from Councillor Oringo, and that was 9.1A. So if new councillors like to follow along. So that's on page 26. Has everyone got page 26? Can you see moving a procedural motion? Okay. And so it was point 1A, which was unless otherwise prohibited, a procedural motion may be moved at any time and must be dealt with immediately by the presiding member. So when we say immediately, even though a question was asked, we were at the point of Councillor Ringo moving her procedural motion.
So I've got a point of order, Madam Mayor. I think
No,
they take
Councillor
precedence.
Johnson, we were at the point of moving a procedural motion, which
Right.
was called by Councillor Ringo.
Yeah, I've already called out procedure. Point of order.
She was speaking first, and we're at the point of dealing with a procedural motion.
Understand,
Thank you.
but point of order
So we have a
interrupts. Point of
seconder.
order interrupts
Do we
anything,
have a
Madam Mayor.
seconder?
Madam
Thank
Mayor,
you,
a point
Councillor
of order
Congerton.
interrupts anything. So, Madam Mayor,
Just one moment,
point of
please.
order
Through the
7.2.1, a breach of. I'm
Councillor
pointing out a
Johnson,
breach
the
of written
continu-
law.
So, Madam Mayor, through the chair, once a procedural motion is called, no further debate or interruption can occur. I use the language of 9.21. A procedural motion may be moved in time and must be dealt with immediately. So the immediately means you cannot have any further points of order, the point of order, which was the motion now be put. When Councillor Oringo raised it, I saw Councillor Congerton raise his hand, unless I'm incorrect, Councillor Congerton, which was the second, the procedural motion. No further interruption can now happen. The procedural motion now must be put. And that motion is the motion now be put.
Thank you. Is that a seconder? So we now vote, okay, on that procedural motion. So those in favour of the
Of the
substantive motion,
Point of order, Madam Mayor.
you cannot interrupt anymore, Councillor Johnson.
But the-
So those in favour of the substantive,
Point of order.
those
Breach
in
of written
favour,
law,
you need to raise your
7.3.1.
hand. Those in favour? Substantive, of the substantive,
Of the procedural motion.
So you need to vote on the procedural motion.
yep.
Voting on the procedural motion first.
And that was the one that Councillor Ringo just raised. So we have Councillor Dean, Councillor Carr, Councillor Ringo, Councillor Bowman, sorry I'm talking a bit fast, Councillor McCulloch, Councillor Tikiro, Councillor Miles, Councillor Congerton, Deputy Mayor, Councillor Henderson, Councillor Prodovnik, and myself. And those against is Councillor Howlett. And Councillor Johnson.
Procedural motion,
is
Madam Mayor, is
carried.
carried 13-2.
Thank you.
Point of order.
You're now,
Now.
No, I do have a point of order.
so through the chair,
Thank you.
as the procedural motion which is now been put has been passed, you now moved immediately to the substantive motion, which is a requirement because the procedural motion says you now need to move that. So you can't interrupt further. You've got to come back to the substantive motion.
So I've got a point of order. It's 7.2. The following are to be recognised as valid points of order.
Councillor Johnson.
A breach. This is a valid point of
Councillor
order, Madam Mayor.
Johnson, we
A
were
breach
just
of
given
any written
advice
law.
to move on to the substantive motion. Thank you.
Point of
So-
7.3, it says, a member who raises a point of order may interrupt any other member who is speaking, which is what I'm doing. This is how points of order work. So the point of order I'm raising is 7.2.1, a breach of any written law. The
Councillor
written law
Johnson,
that is being breached
we
is
are
section
not in debate at the
5.10.2. Point of order can be raised at any time,
Thank you,
Madam
Councillor
Mayor.
Johnson.
So
we're
will you
going
please
to
deal
move
with my
back-
point of order?
I'm going to continue through this. Yep. So debate resumes at point of interruption. Thank you.
So-
Councillor Bowman.
I've said point of
Madam
order and you're
Mayor.
not dealing with it.
Madam Mayor, in my
Point of order.
closing debate, Madam Mayor,
Point of order. Madam Mayor, point of order. You're not addressing my point of order. It's quite
Councillor
serious.
Johnson.
Madam Mayor, point of
Councillor
order.
Johnson.
Point of order.
I've heard you. Just one moment, please.
Oh, this is terrible.
So we'll just go back for those that are following online. We go back to page 28 in your local meeting procedural law. There's a table in there that talks about the procedural motion. And it is, I'll wait till you get to that page. There's a table there on page 28. So we're talking about the procedural motion here, that the motion now be put. Can the speaker be interrupted? Effective carried. During the debate on a substantive motion, the presiding member is to offer the right of reply to the mover of the substantive motion, then put the substantive motion to the vote, which we did.
so now,
So now, Councillor Bowman.
thank you, Madam Mayor.
Point of order. Madam Mayor, a member may raise a point of order at any time, and I'm doing it right now. Councillor Bowman has raised lots of points of order tonight. I'm raising a point of order during debate. It's quite normal. It's not normal to be ignored. For those following online.
So, Councillor Johnson, at this stage, you do not have a point of order.
I do,
I'd like
because
to continue. Councillor
Madam
Bowman.
Mayor, I've got a point of order. I am entitled to raise a
7.1, Councillor
A
Johnson.
member who raises a point of
Councillor
order may
Johnson,
interrupt any
7.1
other member at any time,
is
including
the
you, Madam
preservation
Mayor.
of order. 1, the presiding member is to preserve order, and whenever he or she considers it necessary, may call any member to order. I'm calling you to order.
I'm
Thank
raising
you.
a point of order, Madam Mayor. It's
have
in
no
the, it's
point
in the
of
local,
order.
it's in the
Thank
meeting
you very
procedures.
much. Councillor Bowman, if you'd like to please continue.
Point of
Thank you,
order.
Madam Mayor.
If you continue, Councillor Johnson.
Question
I
through
will
you,
direct-
Madam Mayor. Can the CEO please advise the Mayor on points of order procedure? Because it says I can raise a point of order at any time. This has always happened in this chamber. To be simply ignored is just quite extraordinary.
CEO.
Thank you. Can I just reiterate that the role of the presiding member is to direct the debate. As noted by the presiding member under preservation of order, presiding member can call any person to order. You've already heard the presiding member speak to you and say under 6.9 of the meeting, do not interrupt. So just because you have a view, you just cannot interrupt. That's a staff member or a council member. In terms of points of order, having been called to order and not interrupting, there's no obligation of the presiding member to listen to that. In fact, the presiding member has already ruled on this matter. If a member continues to interrupt, having ruled by the presiding member, The presiding member may direct the member to have no further part in any discussion other than voting. Now, that direction would override that would override any form of interjection. So, noting that the presiding member has called for Councillor Bowman at this point in time to resume the debate, which is the summing up, as I understood, on his motion. He is the final speaker on this, and then the matter would need to be put.
A question.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Member can ask a
we've had
question at
enough-
any time.
We've had enough debate on this tonight, Madam Mayor, so I'm
Question.
not going to go any longer, Madam Mayor, and I will close my debate now. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Apologies. Thank you, Councillor Bowman. I'll now put that to the vote. This is for the substantive motion. Okay. This is for all positions that were listed in Councillor Bowman's alternate motions, the amendments. Okay.
As amended.
So I'll now ask those in favour. So Councillor Dean, Councillor Carr. Was that a hand up, Councillor Carr? Thank you. It'll be very clear with hands up. Councillor Ringo, Councillor Bowman, Councillor McCulloch, Councillor Tikiro, Councillor Miles, Councillor Congerton, Deputy Mayor Zanino, Councillor Henderson, Councillor Podovnik, Councillor Howlett, and myself. And those against was Deputy Mayor.
Councillor Johnson.
Oh, sorry, Councillor Johnson. Thank you. It'll take a while to get used to it. So that is carried. 13-1. Thank you very much, councillors. So we move to part 9, which is called the confidential reports. At this stage tonight, we have nil confidential reports. And that brings us to part 10, which is the closure of the meeting. And I declare this meeting closed and wish everyone watching at home a good evening at 7:06 p.m. Thank you.